Before you watch this video any further, I want to ask you a question. As a senior business leader, do you have a peer accountability framework? Have you even thought of it? Today in the Arena with Rajnish, I'm going to share my perspectives on this important leadership reality which we rarely talk about. Peer-to-peer accountability for senior business leaders. As we start climbing up the corporate ladder, with each higher role, the number of people who can challenge us, guide us, hold us accountable starts reducing dramatically. I experienced this firsthand when I transitioned from the armed forces to the corporate as the CEO of a multinational cement company in Bangladesh. In the transition phase, I faced three major challenges. My first challenge was that I was in a totally new business environment. Transitioning from the armed forces into a global corporate role, overnight I had the responsibility of P&L of a country operations. And within the organization internally, I had no one whom I could speak to. My second challenge was that I was in a new country and a new culture with no social network, no friends, and hardly any support system. And remember, in those days in 2008, the technological benefits that we get from video calls, WhatsApp were not there. The third challenge I faced was that I was new to the industry and consequently, I had no connections in the business ecosystem. Connections with suppliers, vendors, equipment manufacturers, designers, etc. Those connections where I could reach out, talk to, seek guidance, and even learn. On the top of this mountain, I was all alone. And I'm sure many of the CEOs and CXOs who are watching this episode today can relate to it. For title can give you the power and authority, but it also isolates you. You can talk to your team about everything, but you cannot talk everything to your team. And therefore, peer-to-peer accountability becomes critical, especially in the senior roles. For at those roles also, you need someone who can look into your eyes, point out your blind spots, challenge you, support you, and keep reminding you of the leader that you wish to be. Now, let me share a second perspective with you, which is equally critical. In an organization, the way the top management holds each other accountable actually defines the culture of that organization. I saw this firsthand in my early years in the armed forces. In a battalion, if the commanding officer and the second in command were not aligned and pulled in different directions, the performance of that team dipped. However, if the top two were united, the unit excelled in performance. Same applies to business. Under the CEO sits his core leadership team, comprising people like Chief Operating Officer, Chief Financial Officer, CHRO, IT, digital, manufacturing, and so on. The way these 6 to 8 top management leaders in an organization relate to each other is so critical. If they are operating out of silos, if they are looking at one-upmanship, if they are not challenging each other, not holding each other accountable, their entire teams mirror the same behavior. However, if they collaborate, if they are able to ask questions without ego and push each other to perform, the entire organization performance thrives. I can say that peer-to-peer accountability at senior leadership deserves far more importance and stress than it gets today. After watching today's podcast, as senior business leaders, if you feel that building peer-to-peer accountability for your roles is going to be of help, then please think what could be some of the practical steps that you can take to build a culture of peer-to-peer accountability at top leadership. Keep watching Arena with Rajnish, where I am going to share my thoughts on this and many other leadership topics. Till then, bye-bye. Jai Hind.